my channel. My name is Rachel. Today we're going to be doing the wrap-up for all of the media that I consumed in the month of January. This is going to include books, TV shows, movies, podcasts, music, comics, webtoons, anything like that. First thing I'm going to talk about is Doctor Who Season 7. I've been watching Doctor Who for the first time with my friend Beth Ann. There are certain things that I liked about this season and certain things that I really didn't care for. Matt Smith's version of the Doctor is... I'm iffy about Matt Smith. I don't know how to feel about him. I really like Christopher Eccleston and I really like David Tennant, so I wasn't quite sure how I felt about Matt Smith, but I feel like a little bit like Matt Smith plays him a little dumber than the past two did, and I'm not quite sure if I like it. I think overall it was a pretty solid season, but now going into like spoilery things. The fact that Amy and Rory only have 5 episodes in this season was ridiculous. I like Amy as a character. I think there were certain moments where I was iffy about her, but I mostly chalked it up to men not knowing how to write women correctly. And I had already known that Rory and Amy both get sent back in time by a weeping angel. That had been spoiled for me because I had seen the clip on like TikTok or Instagram or something. And so when Power of 3 happened and Rory's dad tells the Doctor to take care of them, I was like, oh, this is going to be a callback in the next couple episodes and they're going to die or something. I thought we were going to get like a couple more like filler fun episodes with like Amy and the Doctor, but no, the entire first part of the season was the fun filler episodes with Amy and the Doctor. But the fact that it was so soon after Rory's dad said that was really jarring to me. Then I really did like the Christmas special and how we got to see Clara again. I liked Clara in the... Oh, I was going to say, I forgot. The fact that they start the season with Rory and Amy being divorced is stupid. So stupid. They should be, like, just angry and upset about it. Like, they didn't have to be filing for divorce. I liked Rory's dad. I thought that Rory's dad was great. The casting for that was chef's kiss. It was so good. Casting him as Rory's dad was so good because they really do look really similar. And I wouldn't think that just, like, thinking of the two actors, but seeing them side by side, it was like, yeah, that's a father and son. A Town Called Mercy was fun. I liked that we got to go to America. The dinosaurs one was fun. There was another Harry Potter actor in there because England has 3 actors. The Rings of Akatan, I feel like the religion on that planet was really rushed through. I liked the fact that the Doctor said that he was there with his granddaughter before. Trenzalore was weird. If you're saying the Doctor dies there, and they've done this multiple times with Matt Smith, they're like, this is where the Doctor dies, this is where the Doctor dies, the Doctor's gonna die here, and I'm like, can we please? And like, I get time can be rewritten, but we also established that if you know something's gonna happen, then it has to happen. Like, we established that in The Angels Take Manhattan, with, River writing the book and Amy reading the book and knowing that was going to happen. David Tennant's Doctor tried to do this too, where he knew that all these people died on Mars, but he tried to save them, but then the captain killed herself in her home anyway. And like, we talked about this with like Rose's dad, and like the reason we couldn't bring Rose's dad back was because his death had already happened. The way that he was aware of his own death for Trenzalore, like, the TARDIS was there. He died there. And the fact that he didn't die at Trenzalore is really bugging me. And it's like, why does Matt Smith keep being destined for death and not dying? But I did really like the 50th anniversary. I thought that was really fun. I wish that Christopher Eccleston had been in it. I understand why he wasn't, because there really wasn't a lot for David Tennant's character to do. I think Matt Smith could have done it by himself. If Christopher Eccleston had been there, I think David Tennant being there would have made more sense. But without Christopher Eccleston, it really didn't make a lot of sense that David Tennant was there. Like, I loved seeing him. I really, really did. And I did like that, being like, oh, there was another doctor in between the old Who and the new Who, and that he, like, tricked himself into believing that he killed all those people. Because the fact that he killed all of his people and the Daleks still come back, like, fills him with so much guilt and so much just, like, angst, and it's just, like, it's so, like, beautiful and terrible and awful, and then, like, to find out that he, like, didn't actually do it, and that they're all fine, just, like, safe the same way that Rose is safe in another dimension. For Doctor Who Season 7, I give it, I think, 3 stars. Then we have Season 8 of Doctor Who. There were actually some really good kid characters in this season. I really liked them. I think a lot of the background characters really carried the show this season. And I don't say that to be rude to Peter Capaldi or Jenna Coleman. And I think that maybe my problem is with the showrunner steering them in this direction. But there are a lot of times that I find Clara really, really, really annoying, and the Doctor really, really out of character. I liked Clara last season. The way I felt about her was very similar to the way that I felt about Amy, where I was like, I don't really know why we're trying to push this romance thing between her and the Doctor when the Doctor is, like, not interested and trying to pursue River. Like, why did you cast an older man as the Doctor? Right after River says that she is upset by the fact that the Doctor decides to have the face of a 12-year-old. If you're not going to put River in it so River can experience the Doctor closer to the age that he actually is. But this season is really when my dislike for Clara started, and then it slowly started slipping into hatred. She keeps, like, acting like she knows more than the Doctor does. And that's not the companion's role. The companion is to make mistakes, remind the Doctor how much he loves humanity. And she's so awful to Danny. I'm like, why is Danny in love with her? He does not need to be. Boy, you can do better. Like, you can do so much better than Clara Oswald, I swear, I promise. There was, like, this weird thing towards Danny, like, about killing people. And I realize now that they did it because he did kill an innocent person accidentally. And he has a lot of guilt about that. But why would you, Clara Oswald, go up to someone you just met, find out that he has been overseas in the army, in an active war zone, and be like, I bet you've killed people, ha ha ha. You don't say that to people! Like, she constantly is, like, being on the Doctor's ass about, like, oh, you don't have empathy. You don't have empathy. Here, let me make these little cards for you so you can read them to people so you can be more empathetic when we're in, like, dire situations. And it's like, first of all, the Doctor has never had a problem with being empathetic. Why does he suddenly have a problem with being empathetic now? Then Clara has, like, the audacity to say that he doesn't have empathy, and then she turns around and says, like, the rudest, most terrible thing ever to anyone. For things that I did like, I liked the gag where, he assumes that Clara likes the bow tie guy. I thought that was funny. The Time Heist episode was really fun. I really liked it. We got Jonathan Bailey! And I really do like Courtney Woods, and I'm like, can she be the next companion, please? The entire time I was like, maybe she is the next companion. I know what the next companion looks like. I was, like, hoping that it would be, like, an Amy situation. He, like, sees her as a little girl and then comes back later. I was hoping to kind of be like that with Courtney Woods. But no. I've been informed that it's not Courtney Woods. I also liked the 2 girls in... Honestly, I like all the kids in the Forest of the Night. I really liked Maeve and I really liked Ruby. I didn't catch their names, but, like, the 2 little boys were also really great. Maeve, though, I love her. I was like, if we're not want to bring Courtney Woods back. Can we bring Maven? Can she be the next companion? Oh, going back to something that I didn't like. When Clara first witnessed him change, she was confused and upset, obviously. At first, it was similar to the way Rose reacted to the change, but Rose was reacting that way because he was, like, lying down and, like, knocked out, and she didn't know what was going on, and, like, she was in danger, her family was in danger. And then after that, she was fine. She was like, yeah, you have a different face, but you're the same person. I know that, and I'm still in love with you. With Clara, she has this, like, whole big speech that she gives to Madame Vastra, like, oh, I'm not into young guys. I don't care about young guys. Like, I'm into older men. And it's just because you think I'm hot doesn't mean anything. And I'm like, what are we talking about? When has Madame Vastra ever given any inclination that she finds Clara attractive? I will say, though, I don't like that in this season, Clara is constantly told that she's ugly. I don't like that. I think that that was unnecessary and rude and upsetting. But I also don't understand why we felt the need to say that Madame Vastra just automatically was attracted to Clara. Because she is, 1, married. 2, we don't see any evidence of that. There's no evidence that she finds her attractive. And I don't know why Jenny claps at the end of Clara's speech and then hits her wife and is like, oi, you're married. And I'm like, yeah, Jenny, so are you. Support your wife. I did like seeing Strax again. Strax is great. Again, Jenny bothered me. I don't understand what was happening there. Normally, I really like Jenny. I think Rigsy was introduced in this season as well. I really liked Rigsy. I thought that he was a great character. And I liked the graffiti storyline with the aliens from the other dimension. I wish we had, like, explored that further. And the animation on that was really cool. I guess that they rotoscoped it. But the animation for, like, the 2D people becoming 3D, oh, it was beautiful. The entire budget went to that. Oh, it was lovely. I loved it so much. I thought it was brilliant. I also liked that Missy turned out to be the master. I thought that was fun. Because they've, like, sort of hinted at the fact that, like, Time Lords can change genders across their regenerations. But I liked having Missy. I feel like the actress did a really great job at, like putting the same energy the last guy who played the master put in. I think for season 8 of Doctor Who, that's going to be a solid 2 stars for me. I'm sorry, I just really didn't like Clara in it. She brought the whole thing down. Maybe 2.5 because of the kids. I don't know. I also finished the audiobook for Stars Above this past month. I've been reading the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, and Stars Above is the concluding novella to that. I had read most of the Lunar Chronicles before, and it was like a reread. I had never read The Fairest or Winter, and then I obviously hadn't read Stars Above either. But I liked a lot of the novellas. I thought that they were really fun. There were, like, some things that I was like, this feels like just, like, redundant or repetitive. But, like, Stephanie Myers wrote a whole book that was Twilight from Edward's point of view, right? I'm pretty sure she did that. I haven't read Twilight yet, or watched Twilight, but I plan to eventually. But I really love Rebecca Soler. She is the audiobook narrator, and I was, like, looking online, and, like, some people really don't like Rebecca Soler, and I, like, don't understand why. They were just like, sometimes she just, like, randomly speeds up and, like, starts shouting, and I'm like, yeah, in the fight scenes, and she's not shouting, she's just raising her voice. She's putting emotion into the text. You want her to read it like Siri? Then get Siri to read it to you, okay? Now, maybe this is because I grew up listening to the radio dramas of the Chronicles of Narnia series. If you have not listened to the radio dramas of the Chronicles of Narnia, you should. I promise it's so good. Scout's honor, I promise. Was I a scout? No, but you have my honor anyway. My dad was a scout, does that count? But yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of the stories. I feel like it really broadened the scope of Marissa Meyer's world. I love fairy tale retellings too. I love sci-fi. So the Lunar Chronicles is so good. I love it so much. My one problem is, like, there are, like, no gay people. Where are the gay people? And I bring this up because in Stars Above, she has a short story that's based on The Little Mermaid, where she calls it The Littlest Android. You know that the reason Hans Christian Andersen wrote it was because Hans Christian Andersen was gay, and he was in love with this guy, but the guy was not in love with him because he was a man. And he married somebody else who was a woman. And that's why he wrote the story. And the fact that she, like, did The Littlest Android and then doesn't have any queer characters in the Lunar Chronicles at all. And I really mean at all. There's not even a background character who's gay. We got a short story about Thorn when he was in high school. We got the reverse POV of Cinder and Kai's first meeting. We got the Littlest Android one. We got to see, we did get to see the characters afterwards. There was like an epilogue type story. We got to see, like, Cress, as a child on Luna. And then we got to see Wolf, training on Luna. Reading Stars Above made me really want to learn more about Michelle Benoit. I wanted, like, a whole series about Michelle Benoit and, like, her time, like, on Luna and, like, how things worked. For Stars Above, I think 3 stars? I think 3 stars. Because, again, some of the stories felt repetitive and redundant, and then others were, like, really fun and insightful. Like the Michelle Benoit one, and I really liked the epilogue one where we got to see Scarlet and Wolf get married. But then the Cress one felt really redundant. I feel like we talked about all of those things in Cress's novel, so I'm not sure why we went back and revisited it again. None of it felt like new information. I feel like I knew everything that happened in that short story, so I was like, okay. And the Kai one was okay. I wish the Kai one had been more about him as a child growing up in the palace and less about his first meeting with Cinder, because we already saw that through Cinder's eyes. I didn't really need to see it through Kai's. Continuing with Doctor Who, me and my mom watched Torchwood episodes 1 through 6. We were really shocked by, like, the difference, like, the clear difference in what the target demographic was for each of these shows. Because, like, they were dropping F-bombs right after another. There was blood spurting out. There was an alien sex episode. I was like, what's going on? I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this with my mom. I was so happy to see Captain Jack again, but I also don't know if I'll continue watching Torchwood. I might watch it on my own but I don't know that my mom is feeling it. Gwen was, like, annoying me a little bit because she, like, kept asking these questions and then, like, also is a police officer and should know the answer to these questions because she's a police officer. But then I remembered that, oh, it's a British show. He was like, oh, I'm gonna teach you how to shoot a gun. And I'm like, she's a police officer. I think she knows how to shoot a gun. British police officers don't carry guns. This is an American issue that I'm projecting onto Gwen Cooper. I'm so sorry. Apparently that really isn't something that she would know how to do. My bad, girl. Didn't mean it. So sorry. I forgot the police officer has a different meaning in other countries. I don't like Owen, and I don't like Owen. I like Tosh, and I like Ianto, and I think that it's a cool premise to be like, oh yeah, they have to do all this stuff because the Doctor's not there on a day-to-day basis, so a lot of the times they have to, like, pick up the pieces. Very different in tone from Doctor Who, and I think if you're going into it expecting the same kind of, like, energy from it, you're gonna get disappointed. But I do think that it's fun. Going into, like, spoiler things, I don't like that Gwen is cheating on her boyfriend, especially because she's cheating on her boyfriend with Owen. I'm like, just break up with him if you're gonna do it and date Owen. I also don't know why Tosh is interested in Owen. I'm just like, girl, you can do better. First of all, he's gross. Second of all, he's gross. I did like the Cyberman episode where he, like, tried to, like, save his girlfriend from being a Cyberman. I really do wish that Doctor Who would, like, delve into that more, because, like, they do it with the Daleks and they do it with the Cybermen, where they're like, this race is inherently evil and there can't be a good person within this race. It's definitely something that you should think about, because the idea that one race of people is, like, inherently evil, bad. Just bad. And combating that, like, storyline, because they do that with, like, orcs in Lord of the Rings, and, like, if, like, goblins also are always viewed as evil, and I think, like, trying to subvert that is a good idea. My rating for Torchwood episodes 1 through 6, I guess 4 stars, because there were some moments that I was like, ugh, but then, like, it was mostly a fun time, and I really enjoyed it. Also this month I read, a lot of the Young Justice 2019 comics, Young Justice Volume 3. I have the DC Infinite app, so I have access to a bunch of different comics. I read issues 1 through 6 on there. I have the physical copy, which is the Lost in the Multiverse arc, which is issues 7 through 12. So I have that. And look at this. It's so pretty. And it's got the back. I also like on the inside flaps, it has the little, they're not even blurbs, it's just like Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld. I do like having the physical comics bundled together like this. Part of that reason is because you get to see, like, the alternate covers, and I'm going to turn them to you, but I'm also, hopefully, if I remember, going to take, like, actual shots of this so you can see it better. But look at these. Okay, this isn't a variant cover, this is just the end of that issue. But you can see the different variant covers. And then, like, Robin gets a new suit design in this issue, so they show, like, the different, like, preliminary designs. And, like, some of them are, like, really similar to Nightwing. Then they also show you, like, the sketches. I think that's super fun! Also on DC Infinite, I read issues 13 through 15, and I have finished Young Justice 2019, but I read the last few issues in February, because it's February 4th right now. I finished Young Justice a couple days ago. I don't think it was yesterday. I think it was Sunday. I think I'm just going to talk about all of it now. I really like the introduction of Jenny and Amethyst and Teen Lantern and Naomi. I think all of them are really great characters. Jenny Hex I especially really liked. Once I finish Young Justice Dark Crisis, I'm definitely going to go read her standalone comics, because I was going to read them first, but then I saw that chronologically they take place after this, so I was like, well, never mind. I don't know if Amethyst has a standalone comic, but I want to read more about her too, because Gemworld was really interesting, and I'm not quite sure what all it's about, and I really would like to get into the lore of that more. Teen Lantern also. I want to find out who's hacked the Green Lantern tech, how she got that, what's going on. I want to know why the Green Lanterns are allowing this to happen, because, like, yes, she has the tech, and so she can fight them, but also, like, couldn't they get, like, I don't know, Batman to stop her? I mean, I guess Batman's not the best person to try and stop a child from fighting crime. He doesn't have a great track record with stopping children from fighting crime. He tends to encourage it. I don't know why the Green Lantern Corps doesn't try to stop her. She has a conversation with Jon Stewart in the comic, and he's basically just like, well, you shouldn't have it. Give it to me. And she says no. And he's like, well, fine. And that's it! That's the conversation. And I get that it's because DC wants to have more young characters, because a lot of their readers are young, and so they want them to be able to connect with that. She's 12. And just got handed this mechanical arm from a dying alien. She doesn't know anything about the Green Lanterns other than, like, just what, like, an average person would know. Like, I think they say in the comic that she doesn't know what their creed is. Like, she doesn't know what their oath is. I don't understand why the Green Lantern Corps is, as a corps of, like, as an army corps, why aren't they seizing their intel back? What's going on? I also really like Naomi, and I want to learn more about her. She gets introduced in this arc. She wasn't in the first few issues. It seems like they're implying that she's an alien? Yeah, like, Superman said your rupture area temporarily opened a door to your birth world. But then she acts like she's been on Earth her whole life. So I do want to learn more about her, because they don't really delve into that. Unless I missed it somehow. Unless I was, like, sleepy while I was reading, and they, like... But I think I would have noticed that. Yeah, I feel like I want to know more about all of the new characters that were introduced. I also really like alternate universe Stephanie. Everybody else has, like, turned evil, and she's still, like, fighting the fight and, like, keeping it up as spoiler. And I'm, like, absolutely Stephanie Brown. Or is she Batgirl, actually? She might be Batgirl in this. I think she is. One thing that I don't understand is why, after seeing an alternate version of himself that is evil, that calls himself Drake, why Tim Drake decided, yeah, you know what, I'll also call myself Drake. And that Bart is the one who suggests it. Bart's like, hey, you shouldn't call yourself Drake. Instead of Robin, you should be Drake. Bart Allen should not be allowed to make decisions. Why? First of all, why would you say that? Second of all, Tim, why did you listen? I'm so confused by it. I get that they were like, oh, we need Tim to have, like, become his own man, have his own identity. We're coming up with Drake. But then, like, 5 issues later, bring him back to being Robin. I mean, it's a great design. I think the design's fun. Why would he call himself the Drake, though? So I say my rating for Young Justice is 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Cannot wait for Dark Crisis. I also watched Dimension 20's Misfits and Magic Season 2. I watched part of it in December, but I finished it up in January. And I don't know if this counts as, like, a TV show or as a podcast, because sometimes I was just listening to it while I was at work, like, just, like, doing, like, data entry. So, like, technically it's a TV show, but also I kind of treated it like a podcast. It's D&D, so you really don't need to see anything because you just talk the whole time. I really liked it. I've been working through a lot of Dimension 20 shows. I was a little bit confused as, like, for, like, the penultimate episode and the final episode, why certain things happened. But ultimately it was a good season. And I love watching Abria DM. And I love the way that they play it. With this one, I like that they have, like, different dice for, like, different skill. I think that's so fun. I think it's the Kids on Bikes system, or Kids on Brooms, which is derived from Kids on Bikes, and I would really like to play like that. I've played D&D, but I think the, like, dice being, like, different, and, like, I like the magical motes where, like, they can spend those and they, like, get things after failure. It feels like true to life where you get some sort of experience that helps you in the future every time you fail something. I love that. I want to say she did something similar in A Court of Fae and Flowers. I also love A Court of Fae and Flowers. Oh my gosh. For Misfits and Magic Season 2, I would rate it... I'm oscillating between 3 stars and 4 stars. I guess 3.5 stars. Yeah. I liked it. It was fun. It's not my favorite D20 season, but I really did like it. And you know what? Yeah, go ahead and say 4 stars. 4 stars. 4 stars for Misfits and Magic Season 2. Also this month, I finished Spy Family Season 2 and Spy Family Code White. I liked both of them a lot. Very excited for Season 3, which I think comes out this year. I am kind of getting frustrated with the fact that neither Yor nor Twilight have figured out who the other person is. I get why, oh my god, what's her brother's name? The freak? What's his name? Yuri. I don't like Yuri. But I get why Yuri hasn't figured it out, because, like, Lloyd especially is, like, really on his guard, because Lloyd immediately figured out who Yuri was. And the fact that he can't clock Yor, especially in Spy Family Code White, and I get why they can't do it, because it's a movie and it's not part of the show, and some people might not watch the movie, so they can't have them figure it out there. But the fact that Lloyd didn't hear the fighting on the top of the ship, and, like, they literally were like, oh, the, like, big Assassins League is here. And, like, he knows that the big Assassins League was there on the boat, and is like... No, wait, the boat wasn't in Code White. The boat was in season 2. Sorry. Code White was when they went to, they went to get the cooking supplies for Anya's cooking class. So yeah, I think Lloyd and Yor are going to figure it out in season 3. It's a little bit annoying at this point that they haven't figured it out. But in Spy Family Code White, there was a moment where I was like, why haven't they figured it out? And it was when Yor was on the plane and got on the plane somehow. What do you mean a normal civilian woman was just casually in the cargo hold of your plane after you took off? Lloyd's a little bit dumb sometimes, I will say. It annoys me. Like, I get why Yor is flustered, and I get that they do this because it's supposed to be funny. But every time he tries to have a genuine connection with her, she, like, freaks out and physically assaults him. And I'm like, oh my god. But I was just like, can we please maybe can she just enjoy the moment? Can she not get freaked out and punch him out of the Ferris wheel? For, Spy Family Season 2, I'll go ahead and rate that, 4 stars, and then for Spy Family Code White, I think 3 stars. Just because, like, they couldn't do any character growth because it was a movie and not the season, and I get that, but it felt very static and almost felt like spherical, and like they came back right, like no progress was made for Stella. None of the risks that happened were ever... There was never any thought that the consequences might carry over into season 3, because I just knew that was impossible. And finally this month, I rewatched Spirited Away. My mom and dad had never seen Spirited Away, and I watched it with them. And I got to show them the Soot Sprites, which are adorable. I love the Soot Sprites. I have little earrings with them. They're so cute. That's the earrings I should have worn. Dang it. The entire time I was getting ready to film this, I was like, I don't know what earrings to wear. So I was like, I know I want to wear something that, like, relates to one of the pieces of media that I'm going to talk about. And I was like, Batgirl, this works. And then I was like, well, what earrings should I wear? And I didn't even think, oh yeah, you watched Spirited Away. But yeah, I love Spirited Away. I'm working my way through, the Studio Ghibli movies. But it was nice to rewatch Spirited Away because, I think it's been a couple years since I've seen it. It's so beautiful. Like, everything is so pretty, and, like, I love the quiet little moments that all the characters have. I'm so glad, because I've watched Howl's Moving Castle multiple times, but I hadn't rewatched, Spirited Away yet, so that was fun. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give that 4.5 stars. I won't say 5 stars because, Howl's Moving Castle to me is 5 stars, and Spirited Away is not as good as Howl's Moving Castle to me. My best friend Vanessa would disagree. Vanessa loves Spirited Away. It's her favorite Studio Ghibli movie. I think for her and I it switched. I really liked this scene where the witch's sister tells her to call her Granny, and then the next time she actually sees the real witch, she calls her Granny too. I think that's hilarious, because she's like, Granny? Like, what? I also like the idea of, like, her stealing people's names. And I love that Chihiro, because she, like, fell in the river, was able to, like, remind Haku of his real name. I think that, it's just so cute. I love the way that, like, it's animated when, like, she's having the flashback to falling in the river, and the river spirit, like, bringing her out of it. I think it's so beautiful. The girl who plays Meg in Hercules is the same one who voices Lynn, and I don't think I realized that the first time that I watched, so it was fun to see that, on the rewatch. So I was like, her voice sounds so familiar. Who is that?
And here's my top artists, songs, and albums for January.
Alrighty, but that is everything that I watched, read, or listened to in January. For the next video, it might take a little bit longer to come out because I am doing a Sims gaming video. I just downloaded The Sims onto my computer, and I decorated my starter home, and I have everything. I think it's gonna be a build challenge, and I'm very excited to do it. I'm going to try and record the screen with OBS, and we'll see how that works out. I've never done this before, but I've already decorated my starter home, so I kind of know what I'm doing now. Shout out Karen and Connie for making me want to play The Sims, because I had, like, heard of The Sims, like, forever. And, like, it wasn't until one of their videos came up on my TikTok For You page that I even considered that The Sims would be something that I wanted to play. I love their channel. I love their content. I love their videos. I love how they decorate. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments something that you read, watched, or listened to this month. Give me a recommendation. I'd love to take some. Yeah, I love talking about my special interests. It's one of my favorite things. But yeah, thank y'all again so much for watching. And we'll see you soon. Bye!